I will ask what happened while I take care of the arrow, put it out, and put bandages on her.
Well, you saw the arrow going straight toward the owl, and she screamed at the moment when it should have hit the bird.
But I wasn't looking at that.
You weren't?
I was
okay.
looking away. No.
Okay.
So
all right,
if
good
they
enough.
were looking
Yeah.
at the owl, if
Right.
they were looking there, I was looking at the other direction because
Okay, yes, you were looking around
they take care of that.
because some awful thing was talking to you. Correct. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so then at this point, while you two, while Unadono is tending to the arrow, and everybody is, and Tagachi is rightly pointing out that this is not a normal event. That is when Kisaragi approaches with his note. So I ask again, now that you have arrived, what do you do with the note?
I'm going to give it to... Wait. Who was it? To the one... Yeah. Sorry, I'm lost in names.
Yes. Ola's character is Tagachi. Yeah.
Ola's character, yeah.
Right.
To his character, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have my notes with me. So.
No, I understand. That's fine. Tagachi, your comrade is for some reason handing you this note, which is on very, very nice paper, by the way.
I immediately ask him who gave you this.
So I'm just...
Yeah. As he answers, I open it.
Mm-hmm. You open it, and it is not to you. It is actually has Kisaragi. That's your real name. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Kisaragi. I am asking Nathan if Kisaragi is his character's real name or an alias.
Yes.
It is a
real name.
Okay. So it says across the top, there's the first letter of Kisaragi in Chinese calligraphy, of course.
Yeah.
And then a mark like a merchant makes to indicate on a document that a contract is completed. Like a signature. I mean, in Western culture, it would be like a ring with wax in it, or it would be a particular signature or mark that indicates the closure of a contract. Not the when I say the closure, I don't mean that the contract is completed and finished and over. I mean that the contract is completed, like a signature on a contract. Okay, and that.
So immediately when I see that it's his, I continue asking, who was it?
Right.
Did you say? What did you? And I like bombarding you with questions. How she looked and what she and.
I'm just going to reply and say that I have no idea what it is, and I just saw that this looks like the lady was mentioning the day before and so on. So I thought it would be, for him to, deal with that. I don't know. I was just trying to, I'm just saying. I'm just explaining that I've seen how you were behaving, and
Okay, we have to go now.
Okay.
Can I look at the contract?
Yeah, but if we go now, you can look at the contract. So we have to go now.
All right.
So what is the contract for?
That it only has the first letter of. It only has a first letter, and of course that could be anybody who starts with a K, the equivalent. But on the other hand, there is only one person who starts with a K among you, and that's the person who had the note, who was given the note. And that's all. There are no other marks on it whatsoever.
Then I ask Kisaragi if he has a contract that we should know about.
No.
Is he sweating?
Okay. Well, that was an excellent question to ask, and you have received your answer. So, I'm going to ask, I know that Tagachi is already moving quickly across the landscape toward the fortress, I imagine.
I will just stop him by saying, Tagashi, Kisaragi, if there is something to tell us, Tell us it now.
It's not a contract. Wait, let me think to say it in a way that it doesn't look like weird. Yeah, no, I don't have a contract. It does not involve any young lady that I don't know about, especially a lady that you may know, that others may know. My goal is just to reach the mountain range. It's exactly as we stated 3 days before in the town at the base of the mountain. Nothing changed on my side.
I'll take the paper and do you want this, or do you want me to burn it, or what do you want to do with it?
Burn it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. So burn it if you wish.
So I'll.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will look at the others, and then anybody else that
I'm
wants
probably
to ask.
already gone.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
probably left.
Okay.
This,
So, Itosama, I want to know what you have done physically. What will you do now?
I'm basically following Ola's.
Gotcha. Okay, so the two of you are
Okay,
busy.
So it's just
Yeah.
me and
Yeah, they're
I'm
busy
in my
confronting
own
each other
thoughts.
over this piece of paper.
Those two are, but I'm kind of in my own thoughts. I'm trying to
I got
figure
it.
out what
Right.
went
Good
wrong
enough.
with that shot, so I'm
Right.
a little bit distracted.
Mm-hmm.
I will take the note, and I will. Do I have flint or something so that I can?
There's
make a
no
little-
problem for burning it if you want to.
Yeah. So I burn it up. Truth is always the best way to trust people, but sometimes you don't need the truth to trust people.
Okay.
I don't want to know your history. I just want to know that I can trust you. Because I trust you. And if there is something that you need help with, just ask, and I will see what I can do.
Wow, that's 2 out of 3 that Unodono has promised this help to, by the way. Just reminding everybody that Unodono has been very supportive, right, of everybody's apparent problems. So, okay, good.
Yeah. Can I reply?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
I'm just going to reply that thanks for the feelings, help. I will keep that in mind, but for now, everything is fine. Let's talk about that after today, at the end of the day. Yeah.
I will
Well,
know. Then we should move on. We should catch up to the others, and we just walk together.
Okay.
Back
So the landscape that you cover over the course of this day is a little bit difficult to pass through, of course, and it is better than climbing on the mountain walls, but it is still a long trip. Now, I'll wait till the picture comes back. Nathan, can you hear me? Oh, he's muted, but there. Okay, so
You are muted. We can't hear you.
No, that's okay. I'll wait till he sits down.
Sorry, I just moved my phone. That's why
okay.
I didn't want you to be sick. Because of
Yeah,
that.
please make yourself comfortable. Okay, we have all returned. Now, the landscape, the grounds, seems to be different. The shape, the hills have changed their positions, and rocks have shifted. And as you are working your way through this, it becomes clear that the landscape every so often actually changes, and a low place becomes a high place, or a clump of boulders has moved in position, and the height of a local hill is different or has shifted from right to left. This has happened several times, At first you may think it is just an unusual landscape and you cannot be trusted to remember every detail as you pass through, but it becomes clear to all four of you that it is a lot more than that. That the actual topography is changing every so often as you pass through it. And the next question is whether you are prepared when it shifts much more dramatically. And it is not an earthquake, it is not shaking. All of you are familiar with earthquakes. This is Japan. But it is not shaking like that. Instead, everything shifts in a very radical, almost organic or fluid way, as though there were powered movement of these large masses of this topography as the enormous being who was curled up in the bottom of the crater, so that the actual positions of its body actually formed some of the hills and valleys and paths, actually has now shifted and has begun to sit up, an enormous, enormous humanoid. And the question is whether you heard its breathing in time to realize that this was a being of this sort, or recognize the motions as humanoid in time to prepare yourself against the upheaval of the area. And who knows, perhaps if you get a good roll, to even be able to defend yourself and maybe do some damage to it as one enormous hand comes down and smashes your general area.
Is it like enormous? I mean, what was the size of the hand? Really, just is it?
It would squish you.
Like
One finger for each
Like,
of us.
yeah, it is like a mythological or fairy tale giant. So not like a naturalistic giant who is crazy tall at 4 meters. No, this is fantasy enormous, cosmic
yes.
enormous.
Yeah.
So
All
that
right.
means that each of you,
were we actually walking on this creature?
in
before?
part, it is not
Yeah.
so huge that it defines the entire floor of the crater, but it is huge enough to have been treating a fair amount of that floor as a bed.
All right.
There is
What do we roll? I will.
Yes?
I mean, this is basically every man for himself and woman for himself, because we cannot help each other to get out of the way.
Well, I think at this moment, that is probably exactly the case, but if the combat continues, then you will be able to operate in a more coordinated fashion.
there is any way we can beat something that big? Should we like flee?
I will just try to avoid the hand at first. So
I think the first question was, are we recognizing what's happening?
Well,
fast
actually,
enough?
I
That
am
would be the
treating
first
this.
roll?
I am treating this as a simple combat roll.
Okay.
So let's say you manage to injure the giant and take no damage. That simply means that you were particularly alert and able to operate, in a more directed way. That will be up to the narrator for each person to decide what they were actually able to accomplish.